You all were born, both Barry, Richie, Stevie was born in Long Island Jewish Hospital. And it was one of the most joyous days of my life. He was my firstborn, and it was just beautiful to see a new guy coming. I was thrilled that it was a boy.
How much did he weigh?
Barry came in at, I believe, somewhere about 8 pounds, 13 ounces. So he was a pretty good-sized guy.
How about me?
Then, when Richie was born, I was in Brooklyn, and it was snowing, as a matter of fact, and I was seeing a customer, and I called home to see, because your mother was due to give birth any time, and I called home, and I was told that she's in the hospital. So I got in that car, and I must have made it from Brooklyn to Long Island Jewish in about 20 minutes, which is unheard of. But I got there, and
What time was that?
you were born on, of course, February 8th, and it was during the afternoon. It was a very easy birth. Your mother went in, and along came Richie, didn't give her a hard time, and here he was. And it was also a very joyous event because, if anything, I'm glad I had boys. I said I really wanted a girl, boy and girl, but 2 boys was great. I really liked that.
How about Stevie?
Now, Stevie was a whole other thing. He then came along about 5.5, 6 years after Richie. And we never planned on Stephen. So I just thank my lucky stars that in those days there was no such thing as an abortion, because we considered that having an abortion when she was pregnant with Stephen. But it was illegal, so we didn't go any further with it. And Stephen was born about 6 weeks prematurely. Once he arrived, when I see Stephen now, I say, boy, thank you, God, that we have him. And how I would have gone through life without him, I don't know. But it was and of course, then I wanted a girl. But as long as we had it, we had another boy. And, all 3 of these guys were very handsome and good looking, and I was very proud and loved them all. I met Annie in December of 51, I believe, 1951, and she had just come over here. Annie had told me that she spent the war years, of 1941, 2, 3, 4. She spent it in a convent where only the Mother Superior knew she was Jewish, and she was brought up at that point really as a Catholic. And at the end of the war, her mother came for her and wanted to take her, and Annie didn't want to go. She felt that she had her calling with the Catholic religion. But finally her mother convinced her, and she went home with her mother and, practiced the Jewish religion. Her mother and father came over here. I think their cousins brought them in to Cleveland, and they didn't get along too well with her cousins, so they moved to New York. And consequently, I met her a short time afterward. When I met her, she didn't speak a word of English. We conversed pretty much in sort of everyday sign language, I guess. I don't know. But I didn't speak French, which was what she spoke, and she spoke very limited English. But she was a very determined woman. She really wanted to learn English, and boy, in the shortest time, she became very, very adept at it. And we met at a center It was sort of a gathering center for people. It might have even been a communist gathering center. I'm not sure, but we happened to be driving in a car, and I saw people dancing. So with a couple of my friends, so we went up, and when we walked up, I spotted Annie, and Annie and I danced that night. And as a matter of fact, I had a date with another woman for New Year's, and I met Annie after our date, and we sort of celebrated New Year's together.
What's going on here?
Yeah, Annie was compensated by the German government for the hardships she endured during the war.
You could continue.
Want to play